Appreciate everyone making it out here. This is a wonderful, wonderful event. To be honest with you, when I was talking to my wife, about a year or two ago about my complaints about the city, my wife always goes, "You should run for office if you want to fix it." Which, by the way, I know she was already introduced, but my biggest cheerleader was Goldberg. And around about 4 months ago, it was Ken and Ian that came up to me and they said, "Hey, you know this Evans Poston guy?" I was like, "No." That this guy resigned. I'm like, "Okay." She's all like, "Why don't you run for commissioner of the revenue?" I'm like, and my wife is like, "He'll do it." Thanks, love.
If you don't like something, change it.
If you don't like something, change it. Well, anyways, so like everything I do, I basically go, full bore on this one because, I spent 25 years in the Navy, like most of you know. Most of you guys are veterans here. Got our corpsmen, we got our Army guys, et cetera, et cetera. If Lawrence was here, I'd say we have our submariner, about the only two of us that would be right there. And I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go full flung into it. So I went and I talked to my boss, who was an old F-14 guy, and I said to him, I said, "Hey kid," that's his call sign, Chris Gallagher, call sign Kid. He's like 20 years older than me. And I said to him, I was like, "Kid, I'm thinking about running for public office." And he's all, "Do it." I'm like, "I didn't even tell you which office." He's all like, "No, I'm going to vote for you anyway, so I'm going to see what will happen." I don't know how to take that, but thank you. Well, anyway, so I started making my rounds about the civic leagues, right? Because my next door neighbor, who actually works at City Hall, says that was the first piece of good advice I ever got on running for office. And as I'm going around there, meeting these people, I start telling them about what's really irritating me with the way we do our tax coding in Norfolk. Basically, we're getting robbed, is what it boils down to. I mean, highest tax rates you see in all of Virginia are here. And I started talking about this issue. And you'd be surprised, and my wife can testify to this because I'm not just building myself up, because you guys are all going to vote for me anyways. Okay, you don't even live in the city, so I know that one. But they're all like, "Yeah, not only do we have this issue, but you need to talk about this issue, and this issue, and this issue." And think about these inputs. It's like, wow, I'm getting this feedback from people I'm talking to because they basically believe in the message we're portraying. It's very common sense. It's very centrist, but it's very to the people that we need a city hall that represents the people of Norfolk and not this boss system we have now. So last night, I was talking via Zoom to the downtown Norfolk Civic League. And after talking to a friend, Max Shapiro, he made this little quip about how kind of unique it was that all of a sudden this anointed person I'm running against, I'm actually running against two of them. One of them has 2 bankruptcies under her belt, so we'll see how that one works. You can't make this stuff up. But the other person who is the appointed one. And I did my homework on it, and it kind of seemed weird. Now, I don't vote in primaries usually because, my mother raised me to be the guy that votes for the best candidate. It's always seemed to be a Republican with very little exception. I'll tell you that, Mom. But I was weak once or twice. But I never voted in these primaries. But it struck me, what's that? There you go.
Amen. I wouldn't marry him otherwise.
Oh yeah, that was a stipulation, but she also had a 38 in my gut, and she said we're getting married too, so. I'll tell you that story later, as a pet alligator was running in front of us. Long story. But anyways, so I thought it really peculiar that the City Hall anointed this person, and Evans Poston resigned literally like 4 days prior to the DNC's primary. So no one had a chance to run in opposition to who they want to represent the party. And I think honestly that is one of our biggest benefits. Because a lot of these people are telling me, because I tell everyone I'm an independent candidate, that they really felt slighted about it. So last night I actually spoke to this point, and I can tell you my opponent, it would have been just awesome if we were in person, because either her screen was getting bad or she was turning red. And she was starting to quip at me about how it's not true and she has a right to this job. Literally, this is what she said. I think my wife overheard this one too. Because I was the second in charge, I have the right to this job.
Right to this job.
Right to this job. So which I reply, it's an elected post.
Arrogance.
I don't think that the people give you that right. I think the people choose you to run for that position.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, the positive response I got from that actually led to a couple questions and donations following it. But the message we have is pure, and it's good. And I know most of you guys have heard my opinion about the taxes with people and with the car tax that I want to abolish, and the fact that we've had the highest raise in our real estate tax under Blythe Scott in like 5 years. And I only say 5 years because I don't have any records prior to that. I mean, it's just insane the way we're getting fleeced by the city, and I think the people in Norfolk are fed up with it. I can get that message out. I can meet with people, introduce myself, and tell them what I want to do. I think we're going to go far with this one. I think I have a very good chance at winning this election. To be honest with you, thank you. To be honest with you, when I talked about how much we had raised, Ian's jaw dropped because he didn't believe people could actually raise that much money. But I'll tell you one thing, working in that cemetery with Rabbi Haber, which I found a lot of solace amongst dead people, of all things. One of our biggest... What's that?
We're all Democrats.
Probably true. But the thing about it is I was working with this guy, Doc Wolfett, who now has expatriated to New Zealand. I think he's locked down with everyone else after the one guy showed up with COVID. But, yeah. But I gave him a call. I said, hey, Doc, you want to contribute? He's like, how's $2,000 sound? I said, to my campaign? So like, yeah. I was like, wow. So I got to tell you something. I wasn't expecting this, but 5 years cleaning up a 110-year-old cemetery actually paid for this campaign for the most part.
Ooh.
So anyways, I'm going to ramble on a little bit. I don't want to because I know everyone's really hungry and wants to socialize. But I really appreciate y'all making it. This really actually, when Sylvia had her fundraiser, she stood up there and she kind of glowed, you know, because this was definitely about Sylvia, one of the best candidates, Hans. You know, all of you guys really are just great people. And I hope I'm not glowing like that because it just doesn't do it. Anyways, thank you all for coming. I really appreciate your support. November 2nd, hopefully we'll have a new, down-to-earth, grassroots commissioner.
God willing, yeah.